Make sure I have this right. So the same group that's been calling us snowflakes, libtards, enemies of the state, and traitors for a fucking decade, now you guys want to do a big goop hug and sing kumbaya. Y'all just know we need to talk about this shit. So first, let me respond for most liberals how we feel about this, okay? And then I want to propose 3 solutions if you genuinely are sorry about basically voting this country into fucking fascism. So I know it's the whole like new MAGA light Republican adjacent talking point to say, guys, it's not right versus left, it's rich versus the rest of us. And that sounds super nice, like on a bumper sticker, but back here on Earth. Let's not forget that for the last decade, these are the same people who have been cheering on while these billionaires have been running them like a fucking sock puppet with their hand up their ass. I can't speak for y'all, but I can speak for me. We told them, we begged them, we showed them. They mocked, they laughed, they owned the fucking libs. And now that the mask is slipping, now suddenly you're realizing, oh shit, I guess we do sort of, maybe a little bit, have a conscience. I mean, cool story. With that out of the way, let's map this out. Because right now in America, there are basically 4 distinct groups. You tell me where you fit in the comment section. Group 1, libs and dems, basically operating in the we told you so zone. Been warning about all this bullshit since day one, cause critical thinking. Independents, the one and done Trump voters. They dipped 1 or 2 toes in, saw the crazy and said, fuck that, never again. Brings us to group 3, the MAGA adjacent Republicans. The, wait, not that far crowd. The ones that wanted disruption, but not total collapse. That brings us to the hardcore far-right Christian nationalists. I just call them the Doomsday Squad. This 6-pack of crazy is cheering on the chaos because they think it speed lanes them to the end times. Alright, let's take a beat on that last group for a minute because y'all really need to understand what you're playing with. Because this is the most dangerous group, and sadly, it's also the same group that has all their stinky little paws on every lever. And y'all, their theology is not a hobby. That is the operating manual. Sick, twisted batch of thoughts is called dispensational premillennialism. I know, sounds like a terrible prescription drug, but here's the gist. They basically think that Israel is God's stopwatch for the apocalypse. Rapture, the tribulation, which apparently is now back on for October 5th. Who knew? Just want to make sure y'all had heard. Armageddon, all the shit. When you have elected leaders like Ted Cruz, who was speaking at a rally, Christians for Israel, who said, if you will not stand with Israel and the Jews, then I will not stand for you. Mike Pompeo over here suggesting that Trump was raised by God to protect Israel. Mike Pence's old all roads lead to Israel. Of course, there was Charlie Kirk out here beating the drum about how we are definitely in the end times. My God, they have been beating that drum for a hot minute. Guys, here's the kicker, the part you really need to understand. To these folks, war, famine, and collapse, they're not tragedies to fix. They're signs that the rapture is on schedule. Peace talks? Couldn't be them. They call them the Antichrist traps. Compromise? Forget about it. Every crisis is a holy high five with Jesus from above. In case you guys were curious, that's why the U.S. shells out roughly $4 billion a year to Israel. It's not for strategy. It's because 63% of evangelicals in America believe that we are actually in the end times. I needed you to understand that because they are not playing the same game. They are not trying to kumbaya and come back together. They are cheering on the end times, okay? So that leaves groups 1 through 3 who can maybe work together and group 4 who are absolutely cheering this shit on. If you made it this far in the video, don't forget to drop the secret words. Let's do something about it in the comment section. Like, repost, and follow for updates. And you guys may want to follow me over on YTube, in case these videos start to go missing. Okay, so this brings me to the 3 possible outcomes, what each group would need to do in each scenario, and then you guys tell me, what do you think is going to happen? Outcome number 1, the reluctant alliance. Groups 1, 2, and 3 link arms to sideline the crazy 4th group, the Doomsday Squad. In this scenario, libs and dems need to swallow their pride, stop saying I told you so, and focus on shared wins, like taxing billionaires and boosting worker rights. Realistically, if the right and the left could work together, they would understand that we actually have a lot in common. Independents would basically become the referees, amplifying the we were conned story, and voting pragmatically. MAGA adjacent Republicans admit you got played. Dump the extremists and you focus on the real issues. And of course, the Doomsday crowd is still out there screaming, but now they have fewer people and less influence. The result is a fragile process, unity by necessity, and could absolutely stabilize by the 2026 elections. Example, it's like being on a boat. You don't give a shit who's on the boat. You hand everybody a bucket and tell them to start chucking water over the side. Even the people you don't like. Sure, once the hole in the boat is patched, you may not invite them over to the Sunday barbecue, but you needed them to help save the boat, so you guys worked together. Option 2, the fractured fallout. Unity talks collapse because egos and grudges are here for the win. In this scenario, libs and dems just go too damn hard on the "I told you so." And of course, that just alienates the allies. Independents tune out or just stay home. Of course, they could always vote third party. And MAGA-adjacent Republicans hedge their bets, half breaking with the extremists but never really cutting their ties. And the doomsday crowd, they are thriving in this chaos, preaching that the division itself is divine prophecy. Result? Stalemate, more extremism, like culture war but on steroids. Gridlock through 2028. An example would be, imagine that you have like a hole in the roof, right? And you all agree that it needs to be filled and everybody's running around arguing about whose ladder to use, all the while the rain is pouring inside and ruining the house. That's what happened when grudges outweigh teamwork. Option number 3, the doomsday domino. Everything splinters and the doomsday fantasy inches closer to reality. Libs and Dems start fighting internally, of course losing national unity. Independents say fuck it, disengage completely. MAGA-adjacent Republicans kind of waffle until they just fracture, feeding some to both sides. And the doomsday crowd, holy shit, they just double down, claiming every failure is divine proof. Result, America weakened at home and abroad. Foreign policy becomes linked and locked to prophecy. Domestic unrest rises, not like literal Armageddon, but close enough to have that crowd happy. It's like a driver who thinks crashing the car proves destiny, so he yanks the wheel and crashes the car even though everybody in the back is just fighting. What do you guys think? Should we 86 the party labels, work together and give these born-again moderates a chance? Come back into the fold, no questions asked? Or do they need to sit in the mess that they created before they get a clean slate? Before you guys answer that question, remind yourself that what happens to one of us happens to all of us. And let me close out this video by saying I have zero love for people that support Donald Trump in this moment. Absolutely none. And one of my most viral videos is me just absolutely railing anybody that voted for him. That said, nothing that I said in this video changes my position. I don't have to forgive you or accept what you did to work with you to save our country. Our nation is falling, all right? And it's falling to 1 out of 4 groups. So for that reason and that reason alone, I care more about my nation than I do my personal grudge with you. So you guys let me know what you think.